So around about 2 months ago, I made a video about a person who scammed another person out of an aquamarine die for 500 coins. It was this video right here. The scammer going by the name as NaldStew40. The way he would orchestrate the scam is something that I've never really seen before prior to that. He would contact innocent, unsuspecting players in Hypixel Skyblock who had relatively high value items, and he would offer a coin reward if they would help him troll AH flippers. Now, his idea behind this is that he would tell people to basically list items for the lowest possible prices, like 500 coins or however many coins. That's not 500, that's 200. Then list it on the AH, but of course there's a grace period. At this point, no one else can see this auction. I can manage it, I can cancel it and take it off the AH. Of course, that will appear on the auction house for other players, they just won't be able to buy it. He would demonstrate this first with his own items, meaning that his auction history was just full of listings of his own items for 500 coins, including Hyperion and Dark Claymore. This was just basically to give a bit of validity to his plan, so the victim thought that they wouldn't lose their item. He'd offer the victim coins in order to do this, so he could get a screenshot to send to his friends or something along those lines. And basically what would happen in the party, when the victim would list their item on the AH, the scammer would then warp them back to their island, and they will be stuck in like a portal with frames on all sides, meaning they can't do anything. They can relog, but they'll be warped back to the island. It is pretty scummy, but to be honest, pretty smart. Because I don't really think there's many other people doing it. And the video got a decent amount of traction, which just made me think, is NaldStew40 still up to his devious criminal ways? Well, I say criminal, it's Hypixel Skyblock. But unfortunately, when I would check for the auction house history for NaldStew40, there is nobody that exists. Which either means that they've been wiped, or they've just simply changed their IGN. And yeah, NaldStew40 is no longer NaldStew40. Yeah, he's now Plumped Melon, meaning that if we go ahead and search for Plumped Melon, of course we get somebody that comes up. And yeah, this guy is a master scammer. Let's take a look at what on earth is going on. But before we do that, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server. It's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. So let's take a look at what he's listed on the auction house recently. To give some context, this is the 21st of April when this went down. So yeah, he's still, of course, back to his devious ways. Listing an Ender Dragon pet for 5 million coins on multiple occasions. Listing an Aquamarine die for 500 coins. Now, interestingly enough, in the last episode, or not last episode, the last video when we took a look at this guy, he'd actually sold this Aquamarine die for 9.4 billion coins after buying it for 500. Meaning that he must have picked another Aquamarine die up somehow that we will obviously have to find in a few minutes. But for now, it looks like he really is trying to get his point across with the Ender Dragon pet, constantly listing it for 5 million coins. Funnily enough, he seemed to have attempted it with a Fire Veil one too, interestingly. Quite a few times actually. But here we see what he used to do all the time, listing his Hyperion for 100k, 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 G-Drag for 5k, 5k, Hyperion for 100k, 100k, you get the gist. Now let's take a look at the items that he actually ended up buying. So these items that we'll be going through will be the ones that he successfully scammed. A Terminator for 1 million coins, a Divan's Alloy for 500 coins, a Necron's Handle for 500 coins, a Hyperion for 400k, a Terminator for 100 million, an Ender Dragon for 5 million coins, what else do we have? An Astraea for 1000 coins, a Warden Helmet for 100,000 coins, and we're all the way back to when he actually did scam the Aquamarine die. Now, there is actually a decent chunk, a decent period of time where he doesn't look to do anything suspicious at all. Pretty much between the start of February up until towards the end of March. Now, looking at the PV, it looks like he has 22 billion coins net worth. But I think I'm going to go through his auctions and see how much money he's actually made from scamming since the start. Yeah, so after looking through all of the auctions, it looks like since he started scamming, it's difficult to figure out exactly, you know, what 100% the amount that he's made from scamming, because obviously it's just the auction house history. Now, there's probably certain items that might have been a bit questionable as to whether they were actually scammed or not, so I've just not included them. Anyway, the figure that I have is 39,482,000,000 coins with a 22 billion net worth, so something's not adding up there at all. That figure might be, in actual terms, maybe 5 billion lower, and it also could be 5 billion higher. But around about 40 billion coins is what he scammed over the past few months, which is insane. Now, there is something that could really, really easily, in my opinion, fix something like this. A scam like this, anyway. I know it's not very common. I don't know of anyone else that's doing it. There probably is other people. But, yeah. Now, I don't know if there's any of my audience out there that plays FIFA. Ultimate Team, to be specific. Now, I've not played Ultimate Team in a good few years. However, back in the day, I did used to play it. And obviously, they have the equivalent of an auction house too. And they had a big problem with people buying coins. So someone would list like a really, really low-end card on the market, and someone would just buy it up for however millions of coins that they've purchased. Of course, that isn't really so much an issue. I mean, it probably is an issue on Hypixel, but a lot of times, if it's a large amount, it gets flagged. But it's also got to work the other way as well. What if someone's listed an item for way too low? Now, if I try to list an item for well too low, it's going to give me a warning. It's going to say, are you sure? Antique Remedies has the lowest bid of 99k. Continue selling it for 20 coins, ? And of course, at that point, you can just say no. But if we know the average price of something like Antique Remedies, then why isn't there just a price cap? You know, I've seen Antique Remedies as low as 40k, and of course they're 100k now. So why don't you just make it so you can't sell it for any different than maybe, I don't know, 20k to 500k? Of course, when you scale that up into higher end items, it's going to be a bigger gap, but it's going to prevent things like this happening. Now, of course, at the end of the day, some people think that if you get scammed, then it is just your fault. But if you weren't being scammed by somebody, then do you see what I mean? You wouldn't even have to think about it. And of course, if somebody was listing a ridiculously low-end item on the auction house for a ridiculously high price and it was constantly getting bought up, then there would be some flags raised, and you know, somebody would probably look into it. They might get temporarily banned. Something would happen. Whereas in this case, with the player that we're taking a look at, the scammer, it's interesting because the auctions are never going to flag up, because why would an auction flag up if you're listing for an item way too low? If someone was going to IRL trade, then they wouldn't list an item on the AH and say, buy this for 500 coins, because there's bots out there that are going to snap it up straight away, and of course, other people. As I just mentioned, he seems to have scammed around about 40 billion coins, and he has a net worth of 22 billion. Now, sure, investing in certain items can lead you to lose a few billion here and there, especially with a relatively low net worth like his. You know, 18 billion coins don't just disappear. And really, it should be more, because you're not going to have zero net worth prior to that. It makes me think that there's items definitely disappearing from his account, and there's also coins disappearing. I'm not accusing of anything. I mean, the best case scenario is trading items to his friends. But you can kind of see what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I honestly don't really know what I expected. I mean, this is probably what I expected. Name change and continue to scam. Something I didn't get to the bottom of is that he scammed for the Aquamarine die in the first place. He sold it, because we can see that on his auction house. But then, relatively recently, he's tried to scam someone with an Aquamarine die, but it's not bought from the auction house, so it could just have been privately bought. I mean, that's definitely maybe what happened. Anyway, who knows? Just don't fall victim to this. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.